Sections of the island are still experiencing drought conditions, making it necessary for all of us to continue to conserve on water. And while you store water for use, we urge you to do so in a sanitary manner. Wash all storage containers with soap and bleach and ensure that you cover the container properly. And don't forget, wash your hands. Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. We have a lot in store for you, from a new school campus out west to quick and healthy breakfast meal ideas. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale, and this is your JIS News for Monday, September 28. More private sector companies are benefiting from government's removal of the common external tariff and the general consumption tax from several energy-related items. On Thursday, the Wisynco Group commissioned its 1 megawatt solar energy plant at its head office in Lake Spence, St. Catherine. The plant, which has the potential to save up to $1,000 per day, was installed at a cost of $200 million. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Energy Minister Philip Paulwell said government would continue to support energy diversification through the implementation of renewable projects.
And the OUR has now invited bidders for an additional 37 megawatts of capacity, and we're going to continue to review, as the ministry now has under the new law, the role of planning. We're going to continue to review, and from time to time we will go back to the marketplace in a transparent way to attract more investors into this era, because we believe that it makes sense.
Jamaica's pork industry is on a steady growth path. Agriculture State Minister Luther Buchanan made that assertion at the recent annual general meeting of the Jamaica Pig Farmers Association. Among other things, he said government had reduced the easy import of prime cuts since the supply management regime was implemented in 2012 to address a glut on the market.
That act of support continues today, and its results can be seen in the quantities of pork imported into the country over the period 2011-14.
According to reports from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, that period saw a 38.4% reduction in the importation of pork. Since 2012, there has also been no importation of pig leg for ham production.
That achievement should not be taken lightly, given the significant emphasis that we place on the consumption of hams during the Christmas period.
Minister of Land Robert Pickersgill says the recent addition of 2 new practicing land surveyors will further boost government's capacity to implement its land titling program. The minister recently presented Andy Jackson and Glenn Watson with their certificates to practice on the island.
The role of the land survey, and in particular the physical data that you gather, will play a major role in the roadmap towards sustainable development. Your role, therefore, becomes increasingly important when we consider how the impacts of climate change are likely to change our physical terrain.
The surveyors are now members of the Land Surveyors Association of Jamaica, which now stands at 101 certified surveyors island-wide. The St. Catherine Public Health Department has commenced sanitization activities at the Bridgeport Infant School in Portmore. The school was closed Monday morning following the discovery of a bacterial infection on Friday. The Education Ministry, meanwhile, says it will issue bulletins to update the public on developments at the school and the reopening date. Until then, parents are urged to keep students of the Bridgeport Infant School at home and to not send them to nurseries and daycare centers. Government says it's making good progress in its drive to ensure more local products and services are utilized in the tourism sector. Portfolio Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil says that's largely due to the work of the Tourism Linkages Hub. His comments came on Sunday in a message marking World Tourism Day. The day was observed under the theme 1 billion tourists, 1 billion opportunities. Dr. McNeil said the theme emphasized the fact that world tourism had grown significantly over the past decade and continued to contribute extensively to global development. He added that the local tourism sector was also doing very well and remained the leading earner of foreign exchange. And finally, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Cameron, will make an official visit to Jamaica as a special guest of the government of Jamaica. He arrives on Tuesday, September 29 and departs on Wednesday, September 30. While in Jamaica, Prime Minister Cameron will be involved in several official activities in Kingston and St. Andrew, including a floral tribute in honor of soldiers of World Wars I and II. He will also hold bilateral discussions with Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and meet with representatives of the Jamaican government, business community and civil society, and make an address to a joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Tamar McHale. Thanks for watching.
Well, I dare to make a difference, and I dare to take a stand. Let me dare to think of someone else who's in need of a helping hand.
The Office of the Children's Advocate is very aware that we have some parents who get particularly anxious at the start of a new school year. And so we really just wanted to share with you a few tips that you can utilize to help keep your children, especially the very young ones who are going out for the first time, nice and safe from sexual abuse. Parents need to recognize that the private parts, as we call them, or the genitalia, are regular parts of the body. And so in teaching your children about the forehead and the nose and the hand, you can also teach them the names of these body parts, because that does two things. It puts them in a position to speak about these parts when something is going wrong, and it also tells them that even though they're private parts, it's not too private to talk about, particularly with a parent. Children need to know that there should be no secrets between them and their parents or guardians. Oftentimes, when persons want to abuse children, they tend to encourage them to keep a little secret. You know, this is between me and you. But from very early, parents need to establish with their children that the lines of communication are open. Mommy and daddy, or auntie and uncle, or whoever is the responsible adult in that child's life, can actually have a discussion, age appropriate of course, about anything at all that may be troubling the child. The third tip is that parents need to cultivate throughout the child's lifespan that environment whereby the child feels comfortable to speak. Conversation should not be off limit, topics should not be taboo, and you really need to get to a stage whereby you have teachable moments, we call them. So we see a lot of things reported in the newspapers, sometimes on the nightly news, and we can use some of these instances of horrible things that are happening to other children to start little discussions with our own children to give them tips as to how they can avoid or prevent, perhaps completely, any such reality happening to them. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm.
Well, I dare to make a difference, and I dare to take a stand. Let me dare to think of someone else who's in need of a helping hand.
The Portia Simpson Miller-led administration is serious about education, and government has proven that commitment with targeted programs like the move to take 20 more schools off the shift system this year. This means that students at these schools now have more contact and class time with teachers. Removing the schools from the shift system has also meant additional classroom spaces. At the Anchovy High School in St. James, a whole new campus was opened. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller opened the Fidel Castro campus at Anchovy with much enthusiasm and a recommitment to the business of education.
As we start another school year, my administration remains committed to education and training as the driving forces for economic growth, the social advancement of our people, and the foundation of national progress. Our commitment can be seen in the significant investments we continue to make in the education sector, including the construction and equipping of schools, training of teachers, principals, school board members, and other leaders in education. assistance with books and meals at some levels of the education system. I urge parents and students to continue to play your part to improve the education of our children and our nation. It was national hero Marcus Mosiah Garvey who said, "Show me a prosperous nation, and I show you an educated people." I want to say to the students, this school is yours. Take care of it. I commend those parents and guardians who are doing their best and making great sacrifices to ensure that their children get a good education. I thank the teachers and school administrators who work tirelessly to keep our education system strong and our people educated. We're all partners together in this great enterprise of education.
The Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH offers a wide range of benefits for students. Children on PATH are among the top achievers in the GSET and CSEC examinations each year.
It gives me a sense of stability and it takes some stress off my parents because even though they're working and money might not be enough, it helps them to send me to school.
If your family is struggling, PATH might be the option for you. Just take your birth certificate and valid identification to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security office in your parish. For further information, visit the Minister's website at www.mlss.gov.jm or call 1-888-991-PATH. That is 1-888-991-7284.
Hola, me llamo Taje. Let's have fun at school this year. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. And let's learn new words like building. B-U-I-L-D-I-N-G. And vegetable, yum yum. V-E-G-E-T-A-B-L-E. Adios, amigos.
Are you pressed for time in the mornings? Try this quick yet nutritious breakfast meal idea.
Breakfast is said to be the most important meal of the day. But how often have we been having breakfast? We've been skipping breakfast morning after morning. Do we really want to pass on this poor health practice to our children? I don't think so. So we've decided to get some help. The Grenville campus of the Hartress NTA's Northwest TVET Institute has offered to render some assistance by giving us some quick and easy meal ideas that's fit for the entire family. Our facilitator today is sous chef Randy Plummer. Thanks for having us, Randy.
Hi Sandra, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome to Grenville campus. Today we'll be doing some healthy, nutritious meals just to give parents and caregivers a workable example of what they can do in no time.
So before we get into business, Randy, why is it so important for us to have a healthy breakfast?
Well, it's important to have a healthy breakfast because the body, throughout the night, the body loses all the nutrients that it would have gotten in the day. And what the breakfast does now, it introduces new nutrients to the body, giving the body energy so you can carry out given tasks throughout the day. Also, studies have shown where students who have, or children who have healthy breakfasts, they tend to concentrate better in school or at their work.
Some of us parents can hardly find time to send our children to school on time, much less cook meals in the mornings. What do you recommend?
Well, there's a whole lot of easy breakfast ideas. Simple thing, just as a boiled egg with some tomatoes, introducing protein along with vitamin C. Another example, oatmeal porridge with raisins. Oats is a good source of fiber. Raisins a good source of vitamin C also. So there are many ways that you can do simple dishes that doesn't take much time.
Okay. So with that said, let's get started.
Okay. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I have assisting me, Sapphire. We're doing some easy breakfast meal ideas. The meals are so easy to prepare, so you can have your children assist you. Today we'll be preparing mackerel croquettes. The ingredients are mackerel, escallion, mixed vegetables, red onions, and white onions. Also, we'll be using the breading process. The ingredients for the breading process are flour, egg wash, and the breadcrumb. For children who suffer from celiac disease, instead of using our regular breadcrumb, you can use the gluten-free breadcrumb. So what we'll be doing now is basically adding all our ingredients and mixing them together. So first we'll add the sweet potato. And sweet potato is rich in iron and potassium. We'll add the mackerel flakes.
So Randy, how long does this meal usually take to prepare?
It doesn't take more than 5 minutes. So what I would suggest to parents who work and have no time to prepare the meals in the morning, prep all ingredients from overnight, put them in the fridge, and then go ahead and deep fry them in the morning. And that will take the most 3 minutes. So what I'll have Sapphire doing now is just mixing the ingredients for me. Okay, well done, Sapphire. We'll now add some eggs for binding. Just mix the ingredients thoroughly. What we're going to do now is make some mini balls. So just squash everything together. It's almost the size of a golf ball. So we then coat it in flour, then egg wash, then breadcrumb. Sapphire is going to help me make one of the balls. Take up a small amount, squash it together. Squash it. Squash it with your hands like that. Squash it and just gently roll it. Okay, well done, Sapphire.
Okay, and how many of these balls do you usually recommend?
Normally for age group 5 to 11, I would recommend 8 ounces. So you're looking at about 4 to 5 of these balls. And portion control is very important because the correct portioning of food alleviates obese children. You have a whole lot of obese children all across the world, and overeating is one of the main factors. And now we'll move to the fryer. We're going to fry these croquettes until they are golden brown. And this should take no longer than 2 to 3 minutes. And the taste is very great. So the mothers and single mothers who have a short period on their hands to prepare breakfast in the morning, this is one of the easier way to go. And it's very nutritious. As you saw, we had a lot of vegetables in there, along with the mackerel that is rich in omega-3. You know, omega-3 is good for heart health. It prevents against heart disease. If you are a vegetarian, you can use veggie chunks or veggie mince.
Quick and easy to prepare and also nutritious. Don't they look nice? Wow, this is really good. Come here, help yourself.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Sexual abuse is always a very difficult thing to confront, particularly when the alleged victim is a child. Parents, if it is that you suspect that your child has been sexually abused or is in a vulnerable set of circumstances where an abuse may occur, we encourage you to have dialogue with your child. Take the child to the pediatrician who normally attends to the child. If there is no such pediatrician, take your child to the clinic, to the hospital, to some medical practitioner who can do an assessment for you. It's very important as well that we don't just look at the physical side, but we also seek to find the kind of psychosocial support that a child may need. Does the child need a session with a counselor? Does the child need to speak with a pastor who is used to dealing with these issues? Does the child need to get that ongoing psychological support to assist with the healing process and also to assist the child in becoming strong enough, as it were, to deal with the various processes that will follow once it is that you suspect an abuse has occurred? If it is that the child actually discloses when you engage the child in discussion that, yes, mommy and daddy, I was abused, we encourage you to entertain the child, to listen to what the child has to say to you, and to take it very seriously. So we really urge you to have those discussions and to seek guidance in terms of, do I speak to the police about this, which we always say you have to, because once a child has been sexually abused, it's a criminal matter, and it means that once at all possible, the child should be assisted to go through the processes so that the perpetrator can in fact be held accountable. Support your child and let them understand in very clear terms that they are not the cause or the reason for this abuse having been perpetrated. But the most important element is to support them, get them access to the services that they need, and give them a chance to have you give them that listening ear. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm. Thank you.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to me sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
September is finishing fast, but before the month disappears, we want to remind our men over 40 to take some time to do a very important test. Watch this feature to find out more.
The major risk factors for prostate cancer are age. It's a disease of the aging man. So as a man gets older, it's more likely that he will be diagnosed with the disease. In addition to age, race is a major risk factor. So anywhere in the world, men of color or African background are present, they will likely be suffering from prostate cancer at a high rate. Family history is a major risk factor. If a man has one family member who has prostate cancer, his risk is double compared to someone who doesn't have the disease. If he has two family members, the risk is multiplied by 5. It therefore means that every man really should know what their family history is like regarding this disease. But those risk factors of age, of race, of family history are not modifiable. We can't change those things. But what we can change is a significant risk factor of diet. So the diet that is associated with that increased risk of prostate cancer is a diet that is high in fatty foods, so the polyunsaturated fatty acids, the PUFAs as we call them, a diet that is high in red meat, a diet that is high in caloric content, a diet that is low in fresh fruits and vegetables, and fiber. So not only is it an inciting factor, it's a promoter once the disease is diagnosed. Prostate cancer in its earliest stage is a disease that carries no symptoms. It's asymptomatic. That means a man will be walking around, he feels quite fine, but he can have prostate cancer. The symptoms that you anticipate if someone has more advanced disease now are things like lower urinary tract symptoms. So these may be blood in the urine, these may be difficulty urinating, straining to urinate, urinary retention maybe, and the advanced stages where now the disease has spread to distant areas. A man may have back pain or bony pain because it has spread to the bones surrounding the spinal cord. He may be unable to walk or to control his urine or stool. He may have renal failure, but these are advanced cases. So the point is, don't wait until you have symptoms. Check the prostate, and it must be done once every year. When we talk about prostate cancer, it's a global problem. It's not just Jamaica, it's not just the region, it's the world. And so we therefore suggest that men screen for prostate cancer in Jamaica. Screening is very simple. It starts at age 40 and it's done every year. The urologist does a DRE, it's called the digital rectal exam. It's just inserting the right index finger, the digit, to test the prostate. What we're doing at that exam is we're feeling for the consistency of the prostate. The normal prostate is smooth, it is firm, it is indentable, much like touching the tip of your nose. If, however, when we feel the prostate, it feels nodular, it feels hard, then we are suspicious that there may be cancer there. Now, in addition to doing this DRE, we do a blood test called the PSA, which is short for prostate-specific antigen. The PSA is a protein that is normally produced by the prostate in health and in disease. So if we see a man who either has a high PSA or his digital rectal exam is abnormal, we suggest a confirmatory test, which is a prostate biopsy, which is where we get tissue from the prostate to see if there's cancer there. Once a diagnosis of prostate cancer is established, then treatment will follow based on the age of the patient, based on their desires, based on their disease stage.
A few seconds of discomfort is better than a lifetime or many years of serious, excruciating pain. I appeal through this medium to my fellow men not to be afraid of any of the checks, the DRE or the PSA. It's for your own benefit, your own welfare. It can be prevented. You don't have to die, and you can live a good quality of life. Early detection, following your doctor's advice, and if you find that you have the cancer and you have your surgery or whatever method, just change your lifestyle to suit the occasion.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Are you registered to vote? If not, don't miss your chance to get on the next voters list. The deadline for registration is Wednesday, September 30. Persons not registered by September 30 for the November voters list cannot be added before May 2016. To get registered, simply visit the EOJ constituency office nearest you. For more information, call us at 922-0425-9 or visit ecj.com.jm. Remember, voting is your right.
And that's our show. Be sure to keep the lines of communication open. Email us, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Like us on Facebook, add us on Twitter, or download our mobile app from the Google Play Store. Our website, jis.gov.jm, is loaded with all the information you'll need to make your life in Jamaica, land we love, a productive one. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.